Hello everyone, welcome to Bret's Table on this fine Sunday morning here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Today I'm going to be making a roasted red snapper, a really simple recipe, and fondant potatoes. So let's get started. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them as we go along. I know a lot of people have been wondering what are fondant potatoes, and I can't remember where I first was introduced to this type of potato application, but I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to move my camera. Oh, before we get started too, what do you think of my new apron? I think it's pretty snazzy. So just got these. So here we go. I've got my camera closer. So I have a little skillet. Well, first off, russet potato. You want to just peel this, and then I cut one into thirds. If I was a Michelin star restaurant, I would actually, make this perfectly round cylinder, and then I'd use the leftovers to make mashed potatoes, potato puree. But it's just me. So I have a little bit of grapeseed oil in my skillet here, and I'm just going to set the potato in it, turn up the heat, add some salt, add a little pepper, if I can get to it. And add one garlic clove, well, actually I don't want to do that yet. That comes later. What did I do with my tongs? Anyway. Actually, take that out. For now, it's just the potato in the grapeseed oil. And that's going to cook until it gets nice and dark. I'm going to open the oven. Move my camera back. So, can you see that? So, this is cooking one side down until it's nice and dark and brown, and then I flipped it over. That's when I added my thyme leaf, my rosemary, and my garlic clove, and added some homemade chicken stock. And then it goes into the oven at 425 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. So these are done because I can pierce them with a knife, and they're very tender. So I'm just going to set these aside while I can continue to cook my other potato. And you just want to keep checking, see it starting to get brown. And I'm using grapeseed oil because it has a really high smoke point, meaning it's a high temperature before it starts burning. So while my potato's cooking, I've got a beautiful piece of red snapper here. I was wanting John Dory, which is a white fish, but Coastal Seafood did not have any John Dory yesterday, so I got this beautiful piece of red snapper. So a little salt and pepper. A squeeze of lemon juice. I'm going to check my potato. Yep, see, it's nice and brown. So I'm going to turn that off. Now I'm going to add my sprig of rosemary, thyme, add some chicken stock, and now this is going to go in the oven as soon as I open it again. So that's ready to go. So back to my red snapper. I have here a Cuvée Clémence, which is a white Bordeaux. And this particular vineyard is about 25 minutes northwest of Bordeaux, so fairly close to the coast. And this is, like I said, a white Bordeaux. It is 70% Sauvignon, 20% Semillon, and 10% Muscadet. And the vineyard is Cheval Cuinard, Cuancard. And I've only been to Bordeaux once. Amazing wines. Some can be quite expensive. Fortunately for me, this was under $15 at the Wine Thief. So what I'm going to do is just pour a little bit into my gratin dish that's holding the red snapper. See if I can not lose those again. And this is going to go into the oven, still at 425 degrees. So I'm just going to plop this in, move that back. And this is only going to take like 5 minutes. So while that's going in, I will put my potato in. They can cook at the same temperature. So literally this will take about 5 to 6 minutes to cook that that fish. So in the meantime, I've got a few cherry tomatoes that I will put in. And be careful when you're moving pans that come out of the oven. Oftentimes I will grab them without using a pair of tongs, and that's how I burn myself. So see, just like that. So I'm going to reduce that. Here, let's move this back over. So I've got my pan here with my chicken stock, my butter. Actually throw in a little more butter because why not, right? Keep remembering to use my and I'm going to throw my cherry tomatoes in just to cook those a little bit. And as soon as my fish is done, dinner or lunch will be served. So while that's cooking, I just want to show you something else here. So I've got, I'm having a cheese course after lunch, and this is Shepherd's Way Farms, Hidden Falls. It's a brie style cheese, and also an Olimer St. James cheese. These are both Minnesota companies, so these will be my dessert or my cheese course after lunch. And then I made yesterday some persimmon pâte de fruits, which, if you ever remember the orange slices that you used to get as a kid that were sugar coated, This is kind of the same texture. Turning that off. But homemade, because I have lots of persimmons. So I tried this recipe and it's like, I wonder how that would taste. So I have plenty of persimmon pâte de fruits if anybody local would like to try it. So yeah, so that's that. So I'm gonna move my cherries out of the way. I'm gonna back up my camera again. Back up the camera a little more. So here's my fish. It's not quite done yet, so it's back in the oven. Here's the potato. It's running out of chicken stock. So I have a little more here that I took out of the freezer, so I'll add some chicken stock to it. And put it back, as I can tell it's about halfway done. So that goes back in the oven. Fish is continuing to cook. Pour myself a glass of wine. And answer any questions. Otherwise, I'm just waiting for the fish to finish cooking, and then I'll have lunch. So, yes, I wish you were too, Steve. Yep, I try to at least give one tidbit of technique at every time I do this. It's really easy. Cooking does not have to be complicated. Yes, I can do complicated meals, dishes, desserts that take 3 days, 2 days to make, but that doesn't mean that you have to. So like literally this meal will be done in less than half an hour, 40 minutes, because of the potatoes. So you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking unless you want to, and you can still have delicious meals for you and your family. So let's going to try this. The persimmon thingy, Joe, is called a pâte de fruits. There's a lot of gelatin and sugar in it. You cook it to, depending on the fruit. I cooked a rhubarb pâte de fruits this past summer, or maybe it's 2 summers ago, and that temperature was up to 238 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I cooked a strawberry pâte de fruits and only took the temperature up to 210 degrees Fahrenheit. And this that I made recently, I only took to 210 degrees Fahrenheit. So I guess it depends on the fruit, how much water is in the fruit, etc. So haven't made these a lot, and every time, of course, I use a different fruit, so it come up with different results. So what can I say? I just enjoy experimenting. So I'm gonna stop talking here and look at my fish again, so I don't want to overcook it. Yep, it's still not quite done. So back. Here we go. Yep. So there's my fish. It's still not quite done. So it's back in the oven. So any other questions while I'm waiting for my fish to cook? I wish people were here. I'd like nothing better than to share lunch with my friends and family, Still looking for the day when I'm able to do that again. In the meantime, we're almost there with a vaccine, hopefully, so let's continue to be vigilant and take care of each other. I'm going to add a little more chicken stock, actually some water, to my cherry tomatoes. Things keep reducing on me. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, while we're waiting, I make chicken stock. I make homemade chicken stock, so I'll buy a whole chicken, roast it, take the carcass and throw it back in a pot with some onions, carrots, celery, a couple of bay leaves. If I have fresh thyme or rosemary, I'll throw those into the pot as well. Some black peppercorns, and just set it on the stove and let that simmer for 3 or 4 hours. Strain it off. Put it back in the pot and continue reducing it, because I don't have a lot of room to freeze. So you just keep reducing the stock. It just becomes more concentrated, so that it takes less room in your freezer to store. And then when you're ready to use it again, you can reconstitute it with water. So I'm these days actually keeping a small container of chicken stock in my refrigerator, because why not use that instead of water when I'm cooking something, whether it's a quick pasta dish and you're sauteing some sausage or something, or vegetables to make a ragu. Throw in a little bit of chicken stock instead of water and you'll have more flavor. So I'm going to throw these potatoes, I'm going to throw these back in as well. And we're almost done with lunch. So thank you all for tuning in today. I'm going to enjoy my lunch, and I hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday, because I don't think you want to just wait for me to finish cooking this fish. So appreciate you all joining in, and you have a fabulous Sunday, and we'll see you next week, God willing. So take care and have a great day. Bye now.